Hi everyone, Attorney Kaila DeFalco here from Remain Attorneys. I wanted to come to you today to discuss the hot topic that's Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, the defamation trial. Now I know I said defamation trial. I know it's a big misconception because everyone thinks that this is a domestic violence case. It's not. This is a defamation trial, which means that Johnny Depp is suing Amber Heard for defamation and the damages that came from that. Defamation means that there was a false statement made and he has lost his reputation and other things from that. Now, Johnny Depp is saying that in the 2018 Washington Post op-ed that Amber Heard wrote, where she said that she was a survivor and a victim of domestic violence, that Johnny Depp was the person that she was referring to, and that as a result of that false statement that she made, he has lost his reputation. Meaning he lost positions in movies such as Pirates and Fantastic Beasts, things like that. He's claiming that he has suffered damages in the amount of $50 million. Now, Amber is also countersuing him for $100 million, basically stating that any acts of violence that she had towards Johnny were in self-defense or in defense of her sister. Now, Johnny was stating that he never struck Amber Heard. This has now created a spiral of domestic violence situations, abuse, threatening behavior, things like that, which is why this piqued my interest, because this has been in the news for a few weeks now, and I believe it's going to continue for a few more. In 2015, that's when Johnny and Amber first got married. In 2016, that's when Amber was filing for divorce. In the filing of the divorce, Amber had requested a temporary restraining order from Johnny. She was saying that Johnny was abusive throughout the whole marriage. However, no charges were ever filed against Johnny for any of this behavior that Amber was saying that happened. This was the thing about the phone. She said that he threw a phone at her head, there was bruises, it's in the articles. In 2018, that's when this Washington Post op-ed came out where she said that she was a survivor of domestic violence and it had been since she was a kid and now an adult, and this was a domestic violence issue that she had been going through her whole life. This is the forefront of this whole defamation case. Now, Johnny is saying that this article is about him, even though the article never says his name. However, there's some insinuations in there where she said that 2 years ago, that's when she became a notable figure for women's rights and for domestic violence survivors. She said 2 years ago. Didn't I just say 2 years ago is when she filed for the divorce and said that he was abusing her throughout the whole marriage? Just saying. So this article doesn't mention his name, like I said, but Johnny's saying that everyone was thinking it was about him. So Johnny obviously lost these movies, which creates a ton of revenue for him. He's not getting put in any more jobs, nothing like that. So Johnny definitely, his reputation was shot, arguably. This is what Johnny's saying. One of the first topics I wanted to mention is dominant aggressor, what that is and why it's important. Basically, to give you a quick rundown of what it is the cops will come, assess the situation. Whichever party is the ongoing threat to the situation, that person will be arrested. No longer will both parties be arrested. This dominant aggressor theory was put into place to protect victims. In the past, when somebody would call for help, essentially the cops would come and both parties would be arrested. Now, this was put in place, like I said, to help protect victims. So basically, when the cops come to a situation now, they'll be able to get both sides of the story, talk to both people separately, and try to decide which party is the person that is the ongoing threat. This is to try to help victims be able to come forward in the situation, be able to speak honestly, and then also not have to get arrested and go through the court system when they were trying to reach out to the police for help and protection from a domestic violence situation, from a family violence situation, things of that nature. The reason this is relative to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard situation is because they're trying to figure out who was the dominant aggressor. Now, obviously, Amber Heard is insinuating that Johnny Depp was the aggressor. There's been testimony and things that she's trying to say in this trial that Johnny Depp had abused her and had been hitting her, things of that nature throughout their entire marriage. Johnny, however, is saying it's the other way around. He stated that he never hit Miss Heard.
Did I myself reach the point of striking Miss Heard in any way, nor have I ever struck any woman in my life.
To try to determine which one is the dominant aggressor, the cops would have to be involved in the situation. The cops would have to be there on that night, try to talk to both of them in a calm situation, try to separate them, and try to see which one is the ongoing threat. Now, there's been some testimony that the cops were called. I do believe the cops did just testify recently about one of the situations where the phone was thrown, but the cops were not involved heavily in these situations, so it's a little bit hard to tell. However, there are some recordings where you might be able to infer or try to put on your police hat and see which one you think would be the dominant aggressor. If you do have any questions about dominant aggressor and those types of situations, feel free to call me. I'm happy to help you out. Now, when you have a situation such as this where each side is claiming that the other side abused them, obviously it's going to be quite difficult. Now, in this situation, it's a he said, she said type of situation. Now, obviously, we're not a fly on the wall to their lives, how they were back then. All we have to go off of is the evidence and the testimony that's happening in the trial right now. So if we're a jury, the jury specifically in this case, if we're the presiding judge, if we're viewers there, if we're just watching this at home, all we can do is look at the evidence and weigh the testimony that's coming in. Now, part of looking at the witnesses is giving them credibility. So far we've had Johnny Depp testify. We have to look at him and essentially decide if you believe him. It's pretty much how it goes. Now, it's helpful that we have the videos, we have testimony of other people essentially backing up what he's saying. There's also, I believe, photographs, things of that nature that can give credence to what he's saying. Now, further in the trial, we'll get to see Amber testify, and then we'll see what her team puts on for a strategy. Then the jury will get to decide whether she's credible in what she's saying or whether Johnny's credible in what he's saying. However, in Connecticut, when I find myself in a situation where I have somebody who's claiming they're a victim of domestic violence, or even the other way around, where I'm representing someone who's charged with a domestic violence crime, what happens is the police report will be entered where the situation was happening. This person is accused of something. We'll go to the court, we'll speak with family violence. Now, these types of situations, unfortunately, when one person is arrested, based on that dominant aggressor theory we were just talking about, where one person is only arrested, they're kind of pinpointed as the aggressor and the other person is kind of pointed as the victim. So in these types of situations, it's much easier to kind of decide who is the victim. However, everyone is innocent until proven guilty in these situations, so we do wait to see what happens in the case. But something that's very helpful is the family relations unit that we have at each courthouse. When somebody gets arrested for a domestic violence issue, what will happen is you go to your arraignment, and then you'll meet with the family relations officer. Now, that family relations officer will do a thorough interview, and they'll get to talk to you about situations that's happening in your home, whether this has happened before, if you believe that you should stay living in the home. I believe they'll also reach out to the victim in the case or the complainant and see if that person feels comfortable with staying in the home, if they want you there, all those different situations, which we can talk about at another time. I also do believe I do have a video about civil protective orders that you can take a look at. So far, we've only seen Johnny Depp and his side putting on their argument, putting on their side of the story. Now, the general public sentiment is that everyone is pretty much on Johnny's side so far, and things haven't been looking very good for Amber. But I want you to hold off. I know that things are looking good for him, but please wait. We do have to see Amber's side. Now, we're expecting her to be giving her testimony, and we expect her side to be putting on their side of the story. So I am looking forward to it. Do want to see what's going to happen. I want to see what new information is going to come out, because there was a lot of things that came out on his side that we were definitely not expecting. So I can only expect the same for her side. So stay tuned. Come back to me after we see that side. I want to talk to you about that after that. We'll give a whole summary about what's going on, about her side, and then I'll give you my final thoughts about my opinion on this case. See you soon.